Back when we had our first dog, Cherish, we'd host these little get-togethers at the house. My father would invite his friends over and they'd get drunk and play basketball or washers. Washers was this fun little game that we actually made ourselves. You had this big box with holes in it, all worth different points, and the first one to 21 would win. It was a lot of fun. Well, one day, my father and his friends decided to give Cherish alcohol. They wanted to see if she'd drink beer. Now, this dog ate everything. I could walk up to her and give her acorns and she'd eat them. Sticks and she would eat them. Actual pebbles and rocks and she, no joke, would eat them. Cherish was a goat. Regardless, my father and his friends gave her sips of alcohol as the night went on. From that point onward, Cherish was addicted to booze. Every time someone had a beer, she would beg at them to share. She would hang around people who had beer with them, and she would even steal it. No joke, Cherish would actually knock beers over and lap it up any chance she got. You had to watch her pretty closely if you sat your beer down in the grass. She never stole enough to get drunk or buzzed or anything, but I'd never seen her go to such lengths for anything else. So one day we host one of these get-togethers and David and I are essentially in charge of getting the alcohol. Now, I don't know if this happened to you, but apparently, if you're an alcoholic and you have kids, those kids get you beer. It's like the job that they're born to do, which I for one think is a great influence. Anyway, David and I are hanging out with the other kids and my dad's friend Travis yells over at David to bring him a beer. Now, Travis had kids, but for some reason he wanted David to do it. David went inside, grabbed a new bottle and gave it to Travis. He did this about 3 times. One time because Cherish actually knocked over an entire beer. Now, there was nothing strange about this, but the next weekend rolls by and Travis comes over. He was telling us about how he went fishing just a few days ago and brought his beer that he'd had at our house the weekend before. He would ask his son to give him a beer from the chest, and when he took a drink, he said it tasted awful, so he dumped it out and tried again. 3 beers had tasted this way through the trip. He was so mad about it and told us that he was going to go back to the store and get a refund on that beer. This is when David says, "Oh, no, that wasn't the store's fault. That was me." Travis looks over at him and says, "What? Last weekend when you asked me to get beer, I took the bottle and the cap and filled it with tap water. I screwed the cap back on and put it in the fridge. I was hoping you'd grab one that night, but you never did." Travis started dying. It was such a good prank, and I think David was only 8 at the time. So fast forward, and I'm 21. I never really had the desire to drink alcohol. I didn't actually take my first liquor sip until I was in the middle of my 21st year. However, every time I have drank, I have gotten drunk. Tell you those stories right now. So I've been 21 for about half a year, and I decided it was time to give it a shot. No pun intended. I decided I was going to get drunk for the first time with my friends Alec and Natasha. I've known Alex since high school. He's been one of my closest friends for a long time, so I figured that would be a good idea. I head over to his house and we start drinking. However, Alec had rules. You may not leave once you start drinking, you turn your phone off, and you do not go online. Other than that, let's have fun. We start the night off with some Mike's Hard Lemonade, which is not a very awesome drink, but later moved on to heavier stuff. We had half a bottle of Kraken rum, 2 shots each of Skull vodka, Natasha and I finished off the last half of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, and 2 or 3 Mike's Hard Lemonades for myself. Needless to say, I was drunk. Alec told me that you know you're drunk when you go to the bathroom and pee and you start laughing at nothing. Again, I was drunk. But I wasn't acting all crazy, I was just stupid. I was loud and I couldn't convey the things I wanted to. If I wanted to say, "Hey, what a lovely evening," I instead said, "Stars." Even though in my head I knew I did not want to say stars. So we're all drunk. Alec passes out and Natasha says, "So what do you want to do now?" "I don't know," I reply. "Want to get on the laptop and go on your Discord?" she asked. "Yeah," I replied. "That sounds like an awesome idea." Now, let me set the scene for you guys. I had about 10,000 subscribers at this point, and my Discord channel was growing pretty well. There was always someone in it. Well, it was 2 in the morning and we jump into the voice chat. I was on Alec's computer, but everyone knew who I was, and of course, one really considerate viewer went ahead and recorded the whole thing and posted it to YouTube. I will never post this to my channel, but if you want to see the video, I'll put a link in the description. It's about 17 minutes of drunk me saying obvious stuff, and I can't actually watch through even a couple seconds of it without cringing. Anyway, Alec woke up, saw we were online, and freaked out. What was my rule, Barry? I was very explicit. He took the laptop and we all went to bed. The hangover the next day was the worst feeling in the world, and I hated the idea of ever trying that ever again. A few months later, I tried it again. One of my coworkers by the name of Brett helped manage a karaoke night at this local bar and invited all of us to get drunk and sing karaoke with him. I promised him that I would go, but I told him that I would not be drinking. We get there and he orders me this really light cinnamon apple drink, which was really good. It didn't even hit me at all, which made me really happy. I got up and did karaoke a few times as all our coworkers showed up. Brett decided he wanted to buy me a shot. I turned him down, but he said, "Come on, Barry, it's still really early. 1 hour and it'll be out of your system anyway." "Okay," I replied, and I took the shot. Again, it didn't really hit me. I felt the buzz, but I was definitely able to handle it. I got up and sang some more. This is when Tim shows up. "Hey, Barry, want another shot?" "No, Tim, I don't. I have to drive tonight." He didn't listen and ordered me a shot, insisting that I already drank, so it wasn't going to hurt to have another. I took the shot and instant tunnel vision. I was now inebriated past the point of driving. This is where it gets kind of fuzzy too. I know I sang a lot more as I remember the karaoke lady calling me Barry the Smooth singing Weedrick by the end of the night. I also remember Brett yelling about how Bulletbarry was in the bar and needed to sing some more. I also know I drank a lot more because people told me the next Monday that I had at least 5 shots. However, I only remember 3. Anyway, the night's going on and I called my mother. I told her that I was drunk and she came and got me. Again, I remember being loud, but I didn't feel as stupid that time. I just didn't know how to manage my volume. The next day I wake up and had a hangover until 6 p.m. All day was nothing but motion sickness for me. Drinking is just not worth my time. The buzz is not very fun, being drunk makes me feel loud and obnoxious, and the hangover and motion sickness the next day is not worth any of it. I'm just glad to say that I'm not an alcoholic. It's odd, because the rest of my family is. My dad, my aunts, my uncles, my dog. Just, if I ever meet any of you guys in person and you offer me drinks, don't feel bad if I turn you down.